I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Gets me every time. All right, welcome in, kiddos. It is the Daily Puck Drop. It is Thursday, August 14th. Appreciate you checking in today, wherever you are. We're on YouTube, also on X, and the Puck Sports mobile app, the live show for you. Now, once we're over, everything gets a podcast on all your favorite podcast channels, including YouTube, and, of course, your favorite podcast platforms. Does not matter. Apple, Spotify, whatever you choose for your podcast platforms. We appreciate you, though, checking in as you always do, whether it's live or later, here on this Thursday as we broadcast from the Limbach Lumber Studios. They're going to take care of all of your lumber needs there at Limbach Lumber with a firm handshake and a smile. They've been doing it since 1930. Proud sponsors of the Daily Puck Drop and Puck Sports for a long, long time. We would not be able to do this show without their support. Give them a call, 206-782-3487. Visit them at limbachlumber.com. You can follow me on X and Instagram and Blue Sky Puck Sports. Also find our work on TikTok. We put all our clips up there of the show, Puck_sports, and also there on Facebook. Coming up on the show today, we've got Mike Garafolo joining us in about 10 minutes from now. We'll talk all things NFL with Mike. No Brad Adam today. Why? Well, if I look over my left shoulder, can't have him on because he's doing the game today. He's actually the play-by-play broadcaster of the game today because I believe our guy, Aaron Goldsmith, is taking some time off. So no Brad Adam today. He'll be back with us next week. And then it's another episode of KJ-Arent with one Mitch Levy. Mitch will join us around, 10:45, but sometimes it's 10:50. But I think we'll be on time today with Mitch. And a reminder with Mitch's visits on Thursdays, it is we play during the live show. He's here throughout. Once we, though, sign off for the podcast, you will not get the full KJ-Arent episode. In order to get the full KJ-Arent episode, saying that pretty fast is hard, you've got to become a Pucks Posse member, and you can simply just do that. QR code on your screen will take you there, but easiest way, pucksports.com, top of the webpage will take you there. Appreciate all the support. If you can do it, great. If you can't, totally understand, but thank you for all that have signed up. All right, before we talk to Garafolo and we'll get the latest what's going on in the NFL, Seahawks, of course, got another preseason game coming up on Friday against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs got some news on one of their wide receivers that we'll get to with Garafolo. We'll talk about Jalen Milroe. We'll talk about Sam Darnold. We'll cover it all with Garafolo coming up here in a few minutes. The Dylan Moore future, we'll get, and then in some Dan Wilson decisions, which we'll probably get to after we talk to Mike Garafolo. But the Dylan Moore game, is that going to be known as the Dylan Moore game last night? God almighty. We had football practice again, so I didn't get to see the game live. Watched it later when we got home, and just at some point, don't you start feeling sorry for the guy? I mean, good God. It is just it's a tough watch. And it's been a tough watch for a real long time there with Dylan Moore. They lose yesterday on the Jackson Holiday W. You guys all know that, scoring Carlson. And again, he plays a factor into that. He doesn't really make the effort's there, but it's just poor defense out there in right field. Thought there would be a way to get a better play at the plate for that. But he's unable to get to the ball. So that loss drops him to 67-54. Houston beat Boston yesterday. So, again, they find themselves now a game back in the AL West. Houston is off today there, by the way. But, yeah, I mean, it's just from the foul, one thing is, the error there on the foul ball is one play. But how about the defensive positioning in the ninth inning where he was at? Now, if he's doing that on his own, is terrible. If he's being told that's where to go, terrible. And I don't care where Jackson Holiday usually hits the ball. You got a runner at first base in a tie ball game in the bottom of the ninth inning. This is baseball 101 that's taught at like the little league all the way up. Protect the lines. Don't give up a double. And he is damn near in center field. Like, I've got a screenshot of it. I'm going to show it. I'll show it to the audience that I couldn't believe where he was at the time. I mean, here, I'm going to share it with our audience who's watching. If you're just listening, Dylan, you know this because you saw the game. Dylan Moore is damn near in center field. But this is like when the second the ball is hit, look where Dylan Moore is. Dylan Moore is in almost right center field, almost in the gap. Why is he not protect? Why is he not closer to the foul line? So I don't know. It's just a rough game for Dylan Moore. It's just been a rough season for him. It gets to the point where I think you feel sorry for him. I mean, we haven't talked about, we're talking about his defense. I mean, his play, what he's hitting right now. I mean, he's 193 batting average. I mean, my God, his OPS is 619. He's slugging 358. He's got 74 strikeouts and 18 walks on the season. I mean, it's even worse since July 1st for this guy. I mean, he's under 100. He's hitting .036. His OPS is 299. Slugging 143. I mean, this I don't. It's beyond fixing him right now. And this is the one thing I always think about when guys are having terrible seasons like he is having. I do question, like, is something going on in his personal life? Is there something we don't know about? Doesn't appear to be an injury with him. I mean, he is having just a colossal bad season. And he's a good ball player. He's not a great ball player. But Dylan Moore is a guy that every baseball team has and every baseball team needs. He's a guy, you can play multiple positions. He gets into these runs where he can get it on a hot streak. Which I believe he had a hot streak at the beginning of the season. It's so damn long ago, I almost forget about it. He can offensively turn it on for a few weeks. That you're getting maximum effort out of Dylan Moore. There's never going to be a time where he's not going to give it 100%. He's always going to do that. Good teammate, all of it. I mean, it's just there's a lot of things right about Dylan Moore. And championship teams have a lot of Dylan Moores on them. A lot of them. Usually the roster is built up a little bit better than it is. But there is a reliance where they do play him an awful lot at times. I thought yesterday's decision was a curious one. I thought about it right before we were leaving to go to practice to see the lineup. I go, yeah, I get Rodgers up there. It's a left-hander. It makes perfect sense to clearly have, more play there in right field. It has perfect sense that Polanco there plays second and all that. In Garver, everything that he did from an analytics standpoint, not even analytics, just, baseball, 101, it makes sense to do that. But when you look at how much success Dom Canzone has had since he's come back, especially against lefties, I'm not thrilled. When they've got a more consistent lineup, I would have preferred to see Cole Young in there. I mean, Cole Young, again, are his numbers going to be great against left-handers? No. But I would rather have seen Polanco in there at DH, Cole Young at second base. He has shown, Cole Young is going to have to be a player that is always going to have to. He's going to have to be a guy that's going to play all the time. So I thought the lineup right away was just a curious one by Dan Wilson, which again will get us in. We'll discuss it here in a little bit when we'll talk to Garafolo. Garafolo might be a little bit delayed, so we'll touch in on Dan Wilson maybe even before that. But again, it's like you're watching Dylan Moore struggle, and I just feel awful for the guy because I know that I know he's putting in the work behind the scenes. I know he's not wanting to play this way. But right now at this point, when you watch him trot out there, one thing that everyone notices there's just zero confidence right now with Dylan Moore. Zero at the plate, zero in the field. I mean, you thought actually, going back and watching it, that play that he made early in the game, the sliding catch, maybe that would be the play that would kind of free him up a little bit and maybe break him out of his slump. I don't know, something like that could. But it's been a season-long thing for him, and he just looks so defeated, at the plate. So defeated at the plate. And so as these games, you wind down here in the season, everyone, you get the beginning of the season where some fans will fret over, the first 5 games of the season. You'll get other fans will remind them, hey, it's a long season. Don't worry about it. I understand that sentiment. Hey, don't worry about it. It's a long season. But I always think too, hey, those games in the beginning of the season count just like they do in the end. So when you kick a game in the beginning of the season, it can come back and bite you in the ass. But now that we're starting to wind down the season, game, what do we got? 40 something less games to go in the season. Or maybe a little more. These all games count. You kick games like this, and when you get to the end of the season, you start looking at the standings, and one game separates you from the Astros. You'll look back to a game like last night and wonder why wasn't Dom Canzone in right field? Why did we not have Cole Young playing second base and putting Polanco at DH, which what you've been doing the whole time? And then maybe you can use Garver later, because that's the other part of this that works against him later in the game. That when they get in that 8th inning, there's no viable solution or option, I should say, to pinch hit for him in that 8th inning when he comes up. Who is it? Is it? Would you have gone to Canzone? Canzone comes in later for Garver? Hell, Canzone would have been a better option than anything else they had on their team, because you could say, well, what about Donovan Solano? Donovan Solano has been terrible against left-handers. Terrible. 449 OPS against lefties. He's slugging 236. That's supposed to be your right-handed bat off the bench. So it is. I don't know what they're going to do with Moore. The rosters expand here in a few weeks. Luke Raley, I don't know. Did I miss it? Is Luke Raley back? He's supposed to be back. I don't know what the answer is for him, other than it's not working right now. And in having him on the field in meaningful games right now is not a good thing for this organization. Just not a good thing, because it's not so much the commentary on the player that Dylan Moore is, because again, I think every team's got a Dylan Moore, and every team should have a Dylan Moore, and he's a viable person to have on your squad. But right now, when you watch him play, he's just done. There's just zero confidence whatsoever. All right, we'll get back into Dan Wilson here in a quick second. But we've got to talk a little NFL. We've got to talk a little football with our next guest, Mike Garafolo, who joins us every single week to talk a little NFL.
Well, keeps this, fakes the handoff, and
he could be gone.
There's those wheels. Past the 25, and will smartly step out near the 30-yard line.
All right, Mike Garafolo joins us right now, back east. He's all brought to you by Hartley and Hartley Insurance. Also, Zogs on Fox Island. The Jalen Milroe era began last week. Mike, I knew he'd have a couple special plays in there, and that was one of them. Boy, he when he takes off and goes, boy, you just see an absolute a different gear for him. He was a fun watch. That was one of the things I was most intrigued about to watch last week in that preseason.
He's fun. He's dynamic. Imagine having to defend that on 3rd and 3, right? He comes in, you get that package. I think that's what you're going to see. I know that's what you're going to see. Clint Kubiak is really good about, capitalizing on players' explosiveness, right?
Yeah.
At every position. And so I think that's a really good start for him. I think we would. I said to you, we're not going to see him how he's going to be used in the regular season, because you don't want to show that stuff. You don't want to tip your hand. Plus, you want to see him as a traditional quarterback. But as you just showed right there, the ability to do that in a standard structured play, you're adding another tool to your toolbox. I don't know why more teams don't do it, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. And some teams have it in their starting quarterback, but why not just have another tool? Have another thing that defensive coordinators have to prepare for. right?
Yeah.
If you've got it from your starting quarterback, that's great. That's awesome. If you're Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, some of these other guys that have that ability, that's great. But if you're, let's say Jordan Love, right, who can do some of that stuff and he can move, but he's not necessarily that type of guy. Yeah. Find a guy that can do it. And maybe this year the Seahawks will do it. And everybody said, you know what? More of us got to do that. So
well, it's a cool thing. I mean, it's the evolving sport, right? We've just seen more quarterbacks that can get out and move. There's just more quarterbacks that have, in high school and 7-on-7 in college that play the way that Jalen Milroe can play. And I think that just adds, I mean, it's every defensive coordinator's, it gives them a panic attack, a nightmare to watch a guy like that. If the coverage breaks down, get out and move, and then he's all of a sudden he's gone. He's gone for 30 yards.
Right. And if you use it in the, even in the context of a package of plays for him, or he's the guy that, kind of comes on the field in those types of situations, which the Steelers tried to do with Justin Fields once they went to Russ and still have Fields be a part of it. I don't know if it really paid off enough. If you do it from that standpoint, you can keep the volume of things you need him to do small. And then that allows him to move faster. I mean, it's just a read option, and just having a defensive guy or a defensive end or a linebacker in space, he's got to make a decision. That's great. I mean, I know it's going to be made more than it should be, right? If Sam Darnold struggles a little bit, which they're very happy with Sam Darnold. So I know there's going to be made more of it, but for now, you've got a tool in the toolbox right now. So I would say, if you go back to the spring when Mike was being asked about, the Sam Darnold's job security, it's like, whoa, curb your enthusiasm on that, and just understand what you've got in Jalen Milroe, who's off to a great start. He's going to build on that, works hard, puts in the work to learn and all that stuff. That's also a big part of what you want. Should be an interesting rookie year for him.
A real home run. It'd be a real home run draft pick if it works out, because he's got all the off the field intangibles. Yeah. Everybody you talk to about him, hard worker, great, studies film, just does everything right. And if you can just get better at the mechanics of playing that position, the hardest position in sports, and especially making plays from the pocket. I mean, my God, they might just have hit an absolute goldmine pick with him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and a lot of people thought that he didn't have the ability to play traditional quarterback. A lot of people thought that about Jalen. Dude, I'm still hearing it about Jalen Hurts in Philly. Still.
Well, it's Philly, Mike. What do you expect?
No, but even inside the building, it's like, does he run the offense the way it's supposed to be run? Who cares? They won the Super Bowl, right? Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah. Well, it's just different. There's just different ways to play the position now, and more so than there's ever been before.
Wow, that's not how we drew it up. Who cares? It's a touchdown.
Yeah.
And he just did it again. Sometimes a play design, he's like, oh, I got a one-on-one with A.J. Brown. I'm going to throw the ball up and give him a chance to make a play. Oh, look at that. He did.
Yeah.
Duh. Don't make
What are your expectations for Darnold?
What are my expectations for Darnold? I think last year built a lot of confidence in him and got him back to what he was feeling and what he was thinking early in his career, coming out of college, I just feel like his confidence was shattered and shot, and he was not supported the way that he should have been. So I truly believe, because a lot of last year, look at who he was surrounded with. Well, he's surrounded with some talent this year too as well. I mean, look, it's not a bad receiving core to throw to. The skill positions at the running back position as well. So he's got guys around him, and I think he's going to play well. I think if you see him get close, I don't know that the system's different. They want to run the footballs, but I think if you see him get close to the numbers from last year, I think that's a win, and I think that means he played good football, and I think that means they're in the mix out there.
There is. It's funny. It's interesting you bring up the wide receivers, because there is a worry out here with a lot of people, including myself, with this group. Just looking at it, I mean, there's some talk already with Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
I was going to say with MBS, right?
He's going to be. This is going to be could be very much a cap casualty. He's running with the twos now. He doesn't play special teams. I guess the positive of that is Torrey Horton, the rookie from Colorado State, is taking that spot. Here's what worries me, and I guess because I can't help it, it's in my nature, and it's terrible, and I want to change it. This glass half empty feel sometimes I get with the sports and the teams I follow. I'm just so pessimistic, not because I don't like Cooper Kupp, just because I think something's going to happen to him. He hasn't been healthy. Yeah, hurt. He's just not. He's aging, and it's just I think there's an expectation out here from some that you're getting the Cooper Kupp of 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm very, very leery of that.
And he's indicated that he believes that guy is still there, and he believes that he can be healthy and be explosive and get, listen, sometimes you fall out of favor with the Rams. I mean, Jared Goff is example number one, right? Sean McVay was done with Jared Goff, right? He goes elsewhere. He goes elsewhere, and he basically plays some of the best football we've ever seen him play. And Sean is like, it's not like when they leave, he wants them to do bad. He's still rooting for Cooper Kupp. He hopes he plays well. Obviously, 2 times this year, he hopes he doesn't play as well when they face him. But you know that's going to be a motive. I think that's a big thing, like that motivation of, good, I'm in their division. I get to see them twice. So not even just on those days, but just to help this team be a threat to them in the division week in and week out. I think it's a huge thing for him. There's no doubt about it. Because Sean is feeling like, I still want him to succeed. You know how he's thinking in his head, Kupp. So I think that's going to be a motivating factor.
What was there a butting of the heads?
I don't think it was a butting of the heads so much as a move toward other guys and sort of away from making him a featured guy as the season wore along. And I think it was expressed to him. It wasn't a surprise or whatever. It seems like he was talked about as, hey, we're going to use you in a certain way now, more of a decoy supportive role. And it just, you're a competitor, right? You're a guy who, the way that he competes. We saw it from the time that he showed up at the Senior Bowl. I mean, in college too as well. But from the time he showed up in the Senior Bowl, from a professional standpoint, you saw the way that he competed. So that's not going to sit well with a guy.
Right. I get it.
And you're moving on from you, telling him, all right, we're going to move on from you. We're not going to commit what we have financially. See if you can go find it elsewhere. And he did. Good on him. And they were glad at least that he got that. I mean, there's no animosity toward him is what I'm saying.
And, probably a little bit of it. I mean, I know he's from the state. I mean, Yakima, though, is very far away from where he grew up is far from Seattle. But I think there's got to be a little bit of the motivation that he's stuck in the division. So he can go up against them twice a year.
Going up against them in the division, not just to go up against them, but see if we can, knock them off.
Sure.
And being close to home and feeling that feeling of being cut for the first time. Everything there's no greater motivation than what he's got in place right now. So if that leads to your optimism, great. I mean, I can't predict him suffering a high ankle sprain in week 5. So if you say that, if it happens, it happens. I don't know.
The last time we talked, the Seahawks and Raiders, they played to a tie, which was just disappointing to watch a preseason game play in a tie. Hey, but the Seahawks covered. But that was all that we were cared about.
Good for you. Good.
What about the? Did you see? You've seen the picture of the Geno Smith double bird?
Yeah.
The NFL going to fine him for that?
I don't know. Do they? I try to remember I think they have done that, and I think they have. Yeah. I assume so.
How about Pete Carroll coming out and supporting it? Yeah,
great, awesome. I'll pay. Yeah, I'll pay the fine. You can't do that, but a lot of times I'll pay the fine for you. But that's awesome. Pete. Listen, Pete making the deal for him was going out on a limb for him, and
sure.
I agree. I mean, listen, that was a horrible comparison. I mean,
it was a stupid sign, but I mean, these players see stupid stuff all the time. They get dumb stuff sent to them all the time. I mean. Double bird, really?
Yeah, but I think there's a difference between being a keyboard tough guy and, being in the face. And not that he said it was on a sign, but like being in your face. And maybe the guy didn't think like you
kind of respect that more, don't you? A little bit that he makes the sign and kind of shows it to him rather than do it online.
Yes, right. But still, it's, when you're resetting yourself and you're playing in a place where you gave it your all and you played well. It's not like he went there and sucked,
No, not at all.
So and Jamarcus Russell, I mean, it's like,
that's a tough one. That's probably for any quarterback in the league to be compared to Jamarcus Russell.
It's
got to be probably the worst comparison of all time.
Yeah, a first overall pick who absolutely flamed out, who didn't put the work in, who was having issues off the field, right, as well.
Right. Sure.
Compared to a guy who was a second-round pick and rejuvenated his career. There's no comparison. I'm Team Geno on this one.
What was Jamarcus Russell's? Oh, that's a great one. I love that way to. Does anyone flip off like that anymore, Mike?
No, the cross-handed. No, I don't think that.
Or this one. Remember, you take your thumb with the off your front tooth. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Well, it's not more of an East Coast thing, but remember? Did you ever? See that one with the thumb? This you flick your front tooth. Am I making that up? I swear that's what people used to do back in the day.
You might be. No, this is the Jersey one or the
yeah. What was it that Jamarcus Russell drank? Was it purple drink?
Purple drink.
What was in that? Do you remember what was in it?
I have not. I'm pretty versed in mixology. I haven't mixed that one just yet.
You haven't mixed that one, right?
No.
Hold on. Give me a second. I'm going to look it up.
While you're looking it up, I just bought root beer bitters. I saw that root beer bitters. And I said, well, I'll make my own root beer bitters. And then it was like, you need sassafras root. And I was like, I'm just going to buy it. Okay, I'm going to buy a bottle of it. Because I saw a recipe for a root beer old fashioned. I was like, wonder what that tastes like.
I bet that's fantastic, actually.
I'm going to make it this weekend.
I love a good root beer. Purple drink is you're mixing prescription grade cough medicine or cold syrup.
Yeah. Codeine.
Yeah. With a soft drink and sometimes hard candy. Originated in Houston in the early 1960s. Well, I'd try that. I'm going to make that this weekend. You're going to make your root beer old fashioned. I'm going to make a purple drink. And see. Let's just compare and contrast next week.
Here's.
Let's do. What's the thing what's the show you go on with? Is it Papa? Is it Bob Papa that does the show with like eating and drinking?
Yeah.
What's it called?
The ManjaCast.
The ManjaCast, and then the part of the show is that there's always you're eating and drinking, right?
And they make a dish for you. Like tonight, we're gonna make you cacio e pepe. That's what they made me.
I love. You know what? I tried to make that freaking thing like 10 times, and I cannot make it.
You gotta watch the ManjaCast.
It's just I don't know how to not make it where it gets too clumpy. It gets clumpy.
He will tell you. He explained it to me.
So can we do it next week? Would 1:30 be too early for you to have an old fashioned?
I was going to ask I thought you were going to ask if it's too early to have purple drink.
Oh no, I'll have it at 10:30. just let the day go away.
Let me ask you this. I mean,
done by noon.
And I don't know. I mean, is purple drink any worse than any mixed drink? It's alcohol, right?
But it's got cough syrup in it.
I don't know. I'm not a scientist. You tell me. I mean, I imagine it is. Seems like it was something that was addictive and a problem. You don't want to go down that road. I don't know. But the reason I said it is this guy I follow on Instagram, who actually was the inspiration for the root beer old fashioned. Okay. So about the bitters. He was a former pastor and he mixes drinks now. It's a great Instagram follow. Yeah. So he said he was doing it one time. And he said, before I used to mix poison in a glass for people on Instagram, I was trying to save lives as a pastor. And I never got the full story for why he left the cloth, I guess you could say. Yeah. And now he's a mixologist on Instagram.
That has to be one of the oddest, career changes ever. I mean, that has to be. Come on.
You may be saving more people with alcohol. Just don't drink it to excess, but it's a libation. You have a drink with somebody, you connect with them instead of scrolling through your phone.
I had buddies in college they called it Robo. They would drink a Robo. They would drink a whole bottle of Robitussin.
Oh God, that's
it's just terrible.
But the point that I'm making is the part of the drink that's a problem is the alcohol, right?
Yeah. Well, it's codeine. It knocks you out. It makes you drink too much of it, like you hallucinate. That's what it does to you.
So it's more than just pure alcohol.
Yeah, we're going to find out. Yeah, it's more. Yeah, we're going to find out next week.
Too much alcohol, you wake up with a headache. You may throw up.
Yeah, we're going to find out next week. Hey, speaking of, this is a great transition. Jamarcus Russell, purple drink, number 1 overall pick to another number 1 overall pick. Matt Stafford. What's going on with Matt Stafford? Yeah. He has not practiced one lick. And what are we, 20-something days away from the start of the season?
I've been skeptical of two guys this entire training camp. Two guys, Najee Harris and Matthew Stafford. And both were like, they're the superficial eye injury for Najee Harris. I knew from our reporting that they would not let us go with, oh, no, he's fine. Najee's fine. He's fine. We're a month into training camp. He's not fine. Okay? Fine and superficial are the two words that came out of his camp. And I should have blown through the stop sign because we knew from the beginning that he was in a bad way. And he's still not practicing. He's running a little bit more. But you can see they have the photographers are getting shots of him and he's got the mask on. Mm-hmm. But you can see through the mask. And that eye is jacked up. Yeah. So, and the other one is Matthew Stafford. they were like, oh, hey, you should practice, and I know Sean's trying to be positive and he's not lying. It's just, hey, he seems to be but I was like, ooh, that's a disc issue. And even if he comes back, it's like, well, they don't want him to have a setback while he's jogging. Okay, there's jogging, and then there's playing NFL football at the quarterback position where you can get wrenched and slammed and done a bunch of different things that can put a huge stress on your back. So that one I'm like super skeptical about, and I continue to be. And he's not hitting those posts just yet for when he's supposed to be back on the field. I would keep a very close eye on that, and I would expect that Jimmy Garoppolo could be a big part of the Rams season this upcoming season.
That's right. He's the backup. The third stringers is Stetson Bennett.
I believe he's still, I think he's still the guy there. But Jimmy had options this offseason. He did. And probably would have made more money going elsewhere, especially because it would have been in a tax-free state. If I recall correctly, yes. And so he wound up going back. So it's like, but at this point, he's made so much money over his career. He wanted the right fit and the chance. And they thought, with Stafford, who knows? And not that they predicted this, but, he and Sean have vibed. So, yeah, Jimmy's there.
Hey, what the sale here recently of the Trailblazers by the Allen estate, over $4 billion. One of the things that all of his assets had to be sold off. What does this now mean for the Seahawks? Are there any rumblings at all that they are any close at all to selling this team?
Not imminent from what I've heard, but it's got to happen. I mean, I think it was a 10 to 20 year timeline, if I recall correctly.
And he passed away in 18.
What's that?
I think he passed away in 2018. So.
Yeah. So you're looking at 7 years in. So we're getting into that window at this point. The Blazers sale is going to take a while to close. I don't know. I have no idea how quickly that goes, but so I think after that, you probably then at some point shift your focus. But to me, it doesn't sound imminent right now. And I don't know, when I say imminent, I don't mean like this year, obviously.
Sure.
So, but it's sometime in the offing and sometime in the near future. So it'll be
a coveted franchise once it goes up.
A lot of money, right? I mean, and I don't know, what's the stadium set up there? Do they own the stadium?
Yes.
Okay, because that's a big part of it. It's like the valuation of you own the stadium, you're having events there, you're getting all that revenue as well. Sportico did the evaluations this week? Somebody put them out.
It's either Sportico or Forbes. Those are like the two.
I think it was Sportico, and the last one was the Bengals at $5.5 billion or something like that. And I'm like, if the Bengals sold tomorrow, it'd be way higher than that. Yeah. Like, I understand your evaluation, what you're evaluating, but like, think about if you bought the Bengals tomorrow, what you could do to generate the things that they haven't done.
Sure.
To increase the revenue of that team and to increase the revenue from everything. Like their deal with the county over they don't own, I believe they own the stadium. Like, that's a big, once you get that, it's like, boom, it helps really explode that.
And it's different from other NFL teams from this sense, because it's just not the state of Washington. It's Idaho, it's Montana, it's Alaska, it's Oregon. I mean, it's a regional team more than it's just a state team.
I think in the near future, you're going to look at what Josh Harris paid for the Commanders and be like, woof. I mean, I hate to say a bargain when you're talking about billions of dollars, but like, wow. Because once the Lakers sold for what, 10? It was like, if an NBA team, and I get it, like I get the brand and all that, but they don't even own their arena, right? From what I gather. Or maybe it was they weren't getting the forum with it as well.
I mean, the Lakers are just the Lakers are the Yankees, Man U. That's a global sports team.
But you can't compare NFL and NBA. Like, as soon as they went for 10, it was like, wow. Yeah. Everything else is just, especially the Commanders. I understand it's not the former team, but you're going to wind up getting an RFK stadium there. Mm-hmm. The team has turned the corner. Like that, he's already got to be in the black there.
James Cook gets a big deal with the Bills, $48 million, $30 million guaranteed. What does that mean for Ken Walker? Ken Walker banging down the door of the Seahawks right now? It doesn't look like there's going to be anything. They're just going to let this thing play out.
No, I didn't hear anything was imminent there. Have they done any deals this camp? Because I know you asked me about Charles Cross.
No, they still haven't done Cross. They just picked up which they rarely do, is they pick up that option. They did for him, but there's still no deal on him.
Yeah, I didn't think anything was imminent. I thought they could get a couple, and they might still. I mean, once you get to week one, that's where it's like, all right, are we setting on the field or are we punting on this to the offseason? So I have not heard anything's imminent on Walker there. I got to look at Walker's numbers again because that's a big part of this, right?
I mean, he's been on the field. You mean just in terms of his statistics? I mean, he's been on the field more, or excuse me, Cook has been on the field more than Walker. I mean, right. Walker had that great rookie season. Then it's just the last 2 years is.
I mean, you can't
dropped off.
Yeah, you're going 1,000, 1050, 905, 573. Only played in 11 games last year.
Injuries, yep.
Yeah, at this point, especially at that position, like you're gonna have to be on the field, go over 1,000 yards, and then you go to the negotiating table.
Hey, how about our guy? Wearing the heavyweight belt with the shirt off, drinking beer nonstop. Our guy John Schneider. We forgot to even talk about it last week.
Oh, his extension.
Got an extension. Yeah. He's sticking around. They still like him.
Of course they do. Of course they do. He's done a great job as a general manager there. And I know the vibe. You know, the Mike Macdonald, John Schneider vibe. You know, year one was like feeling out each other. They really feel like they hit it this offseason, hit the ground running. And also between McDonald and Clint Kubiak, that's been a better dynamic than they've had before. So they feel really good about where they are right now from a working standpoint.
Next time on the Insiders, maybe get a chance to interview Mike Macdonald and ask him, my God, man, I don't know what type of offseason workout program this guy has been on.
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
When do they fit it in? These guys are so busy.
I don't think they sleep, Mike. And I don't know how they function during the day.
They have to sleep. I had this conversation.
How do they sleep? I don't know how they sleep.
I had to have a conversation with the head coach. I was like, you get in here at 4 a.m.? He's like, no, I'm in here at like 6:30. I'm like, okay, that's actually a reasonable time, right? Like I can live with that because you're probably in bed by, even if it's 11, you're up at 5:30. You know, you get 6.5 hours, something like that's doable, right?
Yeah.
Like you can live on that. But when you start talking about 4 a night or 3, what are you doing, right? And John Gruden used to get in the office like, well, we're going in at 4. You got to be shot by 3 p.m. Like,
don't you have to be?
You don't.
You're mainlining Red Bull
in the afternoon too.
Yeah. What's the latest with a couple of things here before I let go? Latest with Micah Parsons.
Nothing. You know what I think? I think this is my personal opinion. I think Jerry is doing it as a callback to remember with Emmitt Smith and dragged into the season. It's like
sure,
especially with the documentary coming out.
Yeah.
I think that's a move by him to this is how we used to do things around here. So we'll see.
And then the legal troubles with Rice, the wide receiver for Kansas City.
Well, they put a button on that legally, right?
But he's gonna now. What he's got to be? What's going on? Is he gonna still be able? Is he gonna still be suspended the first 4 games? Right.
Yeah. Is that are you right? I definitely.
I didn't know if there was an. I thought there was an. I didn't know if there was an update today on what his status was going to be. He's got a next hearing. I guess the hearing is coming up.
I didn't see this. Okay, somebody reported that his disciplinary hearing isn't coming during the season.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So it'll probably be mid-season then, which is surprising. Like I would think that you want to fast track that and get that done, and make it be the first couple of weeks of the season.
Right. Last one more thing. I'll cut you go. Michael Penix Jr.
Yes.
How come there's no video of this fight?
Oh, the fight? Yeah. Well, cameras down. Some teams do cameras down. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're one of those teams.
But they have video of the past that led to it, and then all of a sudden there's no video of it? Come on. I want to see a fight. I wanted to see the brawl. I mean, think about your quarterback being on the bottom of a pile. I mean, that's when you say no more joint practice ever again.
I thought you were going to ask. I just texted you. I thought you were going to ask me about that. Josh Allen, I was in Buffalo. I was in training camp one time, and he got in the middle, and like Brandon Beane was like, not like your heart just drops as a GM. You don't want to. You stay away. It's why you're wearing a red jersey. Come on.
Hey, what you just texted me, I did not see that. Was that on a local news
station? No idea. Somebody sent it to me. I don't know. Auto correct.
Oh, that's poor intern. All right, we'll cut you loose. Thank you, sir. See you next week. There he is, Mike Garafolo, NFL Network, all brought to you by Hartley and Hartley Insurance, also Zogs on Fox Island. Hartley and Hartley Insurance, your trusted family-owned insurance experts in the Puget Sound area since 1978. For honesty, fairness, integrity, contact Jamie Hartley, 253-565-8700. And also Zogs on Fox Island. Zogs on Fox Island, great spot. Catch the Mariners game, Seahawks game, anything and everything. And it's a great place to sit outside, hang out with friends, do whatever you ever got to do to just relax as the summer is winding down. Summer and fall hours and all their information at Zogs. Check them out on Facebook and Instagram. And again, Mike Garafolo with us every single week here talking NFL football. All right, KJ-Arent's coming up here momentarily with Mitch Levy. But first, let's get a word from one of our great sponsors. Of course, that would be Georgetown Brewery.
Drink Georgetown Tavern Beer, your new locally brewed domestic-style lager. 4.2% alcohol. Cheap, good, local.
Things that would describe me: cheap, good, and local. All right, we'll talk to Mitch Levy from Mitch Unfiltered. Another episode of KJ-Arent's coming up here momentarily. Of course, you know the Mariners, as we are airing this right now, are playing as we speak. They lost last night. One thing I want to touch in on, and I'll ask Mitch this when he comes on, and the curious decisions I think recently, well, not recently, they've kind of been all season long there with Dan Wilson. One would be, we discussed the lineup yesterday and kind of my thoughts on how the lineup shaped out on Wednesday's game, and the decision to not have Canzone in there, and also Cole Young to go with Garver and Dylan Moore. And again, it was just a rough game. It's been a rough season for Dylan Moore. He does not look like he's going to be able to end up turning it around. You got the instance yesterday there in the 8th inning. He lets Moore hit. You begs the question why he hasn't hit all year long. Why keep him in the game at that situation? What other options do you have on the bench? You got Master Boney in there. And again, it's going to be a left-hander that he's facing, but now you're going to counter with another lefty. Do you bring Canzone and go, okay, I know it's a left-hander off the bench, but his numbers actually against lefties have been good since he's been back up. Donovan Solano, was that going to be an option? But we just mentioned it earlier. Donovan Solano's numbers against lefties are not good at all. It's just no viable option for him at that point on the bench. Goes back to maybe how the lineup was set out earlier. The curious decision there with Logan Gilbert, though, 79 pitches. I don't want to sound like just old man, and I know people always get upset, like when on Kruger on Mondays yelling at the clouds, back in my day. But come on, 79 pitches. He gives up the lead off the home run to Mountcastle. He strikes out Noda. He gives up the single to Mayo, and they go on pull him. And Logan Gilbert, I guess he kind of somewhat agreed to it after the game. Certainly didn't come out and say anything against Dan Wilson, but I got to imagine in the competitor inside Logan Gilbert's thinking to himself, what the hell are we doing? Why am I being taken out? I thought how I pitched in the beginning of the game and how I was early on allowed me to be able to go deeper into the game, go past, get 7 innings, a mark that he has not been, since the first game of the season. But they pull him in there with 6 1/3 innings. He gives it that middle of the plate hit there to Mayo. Spire comes on, replaces him. Jeremiah Jackson triples to right field. Moore played it terribly. Too close to the wall. Let it bounced away from him. That scores Mayo. Jackson ends up scoring Little League home run there on the air by Josh Naylor. I just, a guy that can be as dominant as Logan Gilbert, you're trying to build him up. They're going to need him to pitch deeper as you get closer at the end of the season and into the postseason. Pulling him after 79 pitches. Yeah, that was a mistake. I think those are some of the decisions when you start thinking about Dan Wilson that he's made this year. Has he gone to his bullpen too quickly, too soon? Pinch hitting situations, just little things like that can add up to losses. And as they're kind of, finding themselves right in the thick of this thing, those things will catch up to you. But I don't know. I just that was an interesting one because I thought about the other day the Brian Wu start, in which he trusted Brian Wu to stay in there after Wu got into a little bit of trouble. He trusted him, and then Wu got out of it. I'm wondering why he didn't give that to Gilbert himself in that game on Wednesday night. As for what would they do with Dylan Moore? Let's say they get rid of Dylan Moore, DFA. The one thing that you think of immediately, well, who's going to play shortstop in terms of a backup option? Because they'll need a backup, and just in case something were to happen to JP or JP needs a day off, whatever. What options do they have there? You think, oh, Miles Mastrobuoni? Well, Mastrobuoni did come up as a shortstop. Has not played there this year. Did appear, I think, in 9 games a year ago there as a shortstop. Your best option, when you go back and look at his time in the minors, and these numbers, I looked at this. In fact, it was Sandy on the Sports Pit that brought this up on the latest edition of the Sports Pit, by the way, which is available. If you're a Pucks Posse member, go to pucksports.com, sign up today. And because we were discussing this, I said, well, if you do something with Moore, you do have this situation where he is the backup shortstop. And flippantly, Sandy had mentioned Cole Young. I thought, okay. We didn't really discuss it much further. Go back and look at Cole Young's numbers in the minors. I was surprised by this. Stunned, actually. I mean, I knew he had played games at shortstop, second baseman, all that. Guess I was surprised how many he had played. When he was at Tacoma this year, he actually started more games at shortstop than he did there at second base. 28 compared to 26. When he was in Arkansas last year for the Travelers, he had started 83 games at shortstop and 37 there at second base. So if they do find themselves making a move there, Cole Young could, on the rare day off for JP, or knock on wood, something were happen to JP, you could slide in Cole Young over there. Polanco. See, I would worry about playing Polanco too much at second base just because of his injury history, but you could put Polanco over there, could put Mastrobuoni over there in the meantime, if you were to give J.P. Crawford there a break. Now, just big picture, they're going to expand the rosters here in a few weeks so they can do something there. Divish this week we talked about, when they do expand the rosters, are they going to give a shot there to Harry Ford to come up? We shall see what they can do. Samad Taylor's another option down there in Tacoma they could certainly think about as well. They did something today in the lineup on Thursday that I think a lot of us have been thinking about. Josh Naylor's the number 2 hitter, and even though Cal Raleigh's had a great last week in terms of power numbers, we've openly talked. Divish and I talked about it this week. Kruger and I also brought it up. We just feel like Naylor feels like a perfect 2-hole hitter. Not to take anything away from Cal. I mean, I think Cal can just hit anywhere. But would Cal be more comfortable in that 3 or 4-hole spot there in the Mariners rotation? But that's the latest there on the Mariners. They did get some good news on Bryce Miller. Bryce Miller yesterday, last rehab start there in Tacoma. He went 5 2/3. He allowed 2 runs and 2 hits. He was perfect through 4 innings there for Bryce Miller. So good news there on the right-hander. Sounds like he was hitting like 97, 98 miles an hour. He was throwing all of his pitches, felt no discomfort, sounded like he felt great afterwards. Sounds like he could return Tuesday against the Phillies. Seahawks and Chiefs are coming up on Friday. We go Seahawks camping. Not a ton came out of yesterday's practice other than, and we talked to DeGar this week about this, because one of the storylines that they've not been able to do is actually hit any deep balls. They finally did that this week. Darnold connecting with Torrey Horton. Most starters are going to see the field coming up on Friday against the Chiefs, including Sam Darnold. So that'll be fun to watch those guys get after it. You're not going to see Oluwatimi, who I assume is going to be the starting center. He has been out for like a week with a back. McDonald says he's good, just progressing. He's coming along. Can't give you exact day according to McDonald, but he should be. Thanks to Mike Garafolo, NFL Network, for joining us, as he always does on his Thursday visit. Also on Thursdays, we catch up with Mitch Levy from the Mitch Unfiltered Podcast, another episode of KJ-Arent. He appears the whole time during the live show, or whole show. We'll have Big thanks to Mike Garafolo for joining us this week, as he does every Thursday. Coming up next, we give you a sneak preview of this week's episode of KJ-Arent with Mitch Levy, host of the Mitch Unfiltered Podcast. Now, if you want to watch or listen to the whole podcast with myself and Mitch, which the entirety of it airs during the live show, go to pucksports.com, sign up to become a Pucks Posse member, or go to mitchunfiltered.com and become a patron. Enjoy this week's sneak preview of KJ-Arent.
Can I just go back to Ichiro's Saturday night?
Sure.
You watched the whole ceremony?
All of it.
Yeah. You watched the video of all the guys. Ichiro, congratulations. You deserve all. Remember all that? And I brought up, this is an aside, I brought up what the hell, I was going to say the F word, is Tom Brady doing it? And then everybody reminded me that there was that thing, there was that funny thing where he didn't know who Tom Brady was, and that's why. But I thought Tom Brady was out of place. What I love about that video, the best though, this is a Puckett observation. That's going to make you giggle, unless you've already thought about it. What I love about that video, do you remember the moment where David Ortiz and Derek Jeter are sitting on the Fox desk and they're congratulating Ichiro on his career and on his day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so clearly what happened? The Mariners reached out to Fox and they said, hey, could you guys get Jeter and Ortiz the next time you do a Fox thing to look into the camera? We'll include it on our video, right? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy on that Fox set is Alex Rodriguez. So when they asked Fox, did they say, listen, could you also do us a favor and not allow Alex in the video? We just want Ortiz and Jeter. I know Alex is going to be sitting there, but could you wait till he leaves to go to the bathroom or something? Because we don't want him in the video because everybody's going to boo if Alex Rodriguez. So how do you ask Fox to get two of the three guys to wish? Am I right about that, or am I wrong?
What are the odds? I didn't even think about that. Now that you've brought that up, and I'm mad at myself that I didn't think of that. What are the odds when they recorded it that he was just off to the side of one of them?
Probably right there.
And sitting there watching, going, I played there.
That's right. That's the whole point.
Oh.
Or do you wait? Does the producer, do the people behind the scenes go, listen, we got to do this thing with Ortiz and Jeter. Can somebody, when A-Rod goes to sign autographs out there or goes to the bathroom, we got to
do it real quick.
Real quick.
That seemed like they rushed it after a post-game show, and they just we got to get this, we got to fit it in right now. I bet you anything he was off. He was on set, off to the side, and had to listen to it. Oh.
Is that not a Puckett observation?
Yeah, that was good. God, I'm mad that I didn't think about that.
What were you going to ask? I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to ask it now, but this is gonna probably be a longer answer for you, but I've been wanting to ask you for a while. But then I think you answered it in one of your tweets a little bit ago. Because you had a tweet, and forgive me, I didn't have it pulled up right away here. Because I was going to ask you, why this business? Why'd you get into it? What led you to wanting to do this business? And then you tweeted out, and you probably know where I'm going with it. You tweeted out on August, you retweeted a post from Kevin Gallagher that the cover of Sports Illustrated titled "The One and Only," and it was Howard Cosell. And you wrote, this is the single biggest reason why I wanted to be in sports broadcasting.
See, this is kind of serious for this.
I know. But I've always been interested. I've always been interested why you decided to get into this line of work.
It's not very complicated. I wish I had a more complicated, nuanced story, like a smarter, intelligent, articulate story for you, but I don't have it. I grew up in a family where it was all about sports. I have two brothers. My father was very sports inclined, played, fan. My poor mother sat at the dinner table every night and listened to four boys talk about sports, which she doesn't care about. And we did nothing but play sports and talk about sports. We played everything. My brothers are both good athletes, and my dad loved watching sports. That's all we did was watch sports. And when I was growing up in the 1970s, when my dad would put on sports, inevitably Howard Cosell was on.
Yeah.
He was on everything. Whether it was Monday Night Football or whether it was boxing, we were big boxing fans. My dad was a big hated Ali. My dad hated Ali. He was like the only guy who hated Ali. Hated Ali.
Like, because he was too cocky?
Yeah, too cocky. He was rooting for George Foreman to knock his out. And my father, I think, went to his grave thinking that fight was fixed. When Foreman got knocked out by Ali, because he was so bitter. But anyway, we would watch the Olympic. We loved he loved the Olympics. He loved the boxing Olympic. You remember when Sugar Ray Leonard, 1976. So I heard out as a kid, and so I started imitating him. I would imitate him. I would walk around the house as like a 7-year-old, 8-year-old in the shower. I would be like doing the Monday Night Football open, dun 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 dun, when Howard would come on. And what I remember most was, and I just mentioned it, was the 1976 Summer Olympics. So this goes before you. You said you were born in what year? 75?
75.
So the 1976, you may be aware, 76 was like the most famous American boxing Olympic year of all time. We had both the Spinks brothers, Leon and Michael Spinks, were on our team. We had Big John Tate was our heavyweight, Sugar Ray Leonard, Howard Davis. We had a team of guys that were good. Cuba was always the standard. Teofilo Stevenson. The Cuban boxers always beat the American boxers' asses all the time, leading up to that point. And we finally had a team that we thought we could take Cuba out in the Olympics. And I was sitting with my father, 1976, so I was 9 years old. We were watching ABC, and Sugar Ray Leonard was fighting in the gold medal game, the gold medal bout, 3-rounder against the Cuban fighter, whoever the Cuban fighter was. And Sugar Ray beat his ass. Didn't knock him down, but beat his ass. And Howard was screaming, Howard Cosell. And this literally was the moment I decided I wanted to become a sportscaster. Howard was yelling, Sugar Ray Leonard is teaching the Cuban a boxing lesson. He was screaming into the mic. And I was like, oh my God, that's what I want to be. When I grow up, that's what I want to be.
How old?
76, I was 9.
9 years old.
Howard Cosell was the single biggest reason I wanted to be a sportscaster.
Another episode of KJ-Arent in the books. Now, once the live show is over, everything goes podcast up on YouTube and on all the podcast platforms. So to watch and to listen to the full episode of this week's KJ-Arent, you got to go sign up to become a Pucks Posse member at pucksports.com. Or if you're already a Mitch Unfiltered patron, you have access to the full show of this week's KJ-Arent with me and Mitch. All right. Let's see. That was a good one. I love this. I love the stuff about why he got into this business. Before we get on out of here, hey, what the puck? We got that. In other news, we got to do that. In other news, we talked a little bit about this there with Mike Garafolo, but Michael Penix Jr. involved in a scuffle with the Titans during a joint practice yesterday after completing a long pass to his wide receiver, Ray McLeod. Penix and Titans defenders were talking trash and getting after each other, and all things boiled over, and they got physical. Players from both teams ran him from the sidelines. Penix ended up in the middle of a pile and seemed to be thrown to the ground. Penix says, I did not know where I was once I was in it. It was a lot of people. I knew I was down there somewhere. I wasn't the only one, though. Fellow wide receiver Drake London had to be pulled away from the skirmish. Can you imagine watching your franchise quarterback in the bottom of a pile with a fight going on? My God, you'd lose your mind. But boy, you love the toughness there of Michael Penix, and he is going to be a star in the NFL for sure. In other news, the NBA Board of Governors yesterday did approve the sale of the Boston Celtics to a group led by private equity mogul Bill Chisholm, a deal now that values of over $6.1 billion. And of course, the news yesterday, the Blazers sold to Tom Dundon, who owns the Carolina Hurricanes, for over $4 billion. In other news, the Big 12 will publicly provide player availability reports for all conference games in football, beginning 3 days before each game, submitted daily, plus a final report 90 minutes prior to kickoff. You can thank sports gambling for this happening in college football. So, again, when everyone gets, what up in a bunches about John Mateer and all that, the only reason they're doing injury reports is because of sports gambling. All right, let's wrap up the show with Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. It's the restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, mold damage with their property restoration services. They are locally owned and operated. Give them a call, 206-817-8917, or visit them online at restoration1.com. North Seattle franchise. Concerns over Dan Wilson. We brought this up a little bit earlier. Certainly has been some decisions lately that you have questioned, or all season that you have questioned. I would say that he's certainly still learning on the job. I think no one is perfect out of the gate, no matter what you do, no matter what you're doing. I think the one concern can be at times with Dan Wilson is how loyal to veterans can he be? Is he too loyal to veterans to a fault? Certainly think you can make that case when it comes to Dylan Moore. His baseball knowledge should not be doubted. He played the game long enough, he's been around it. He was a catcher. He knows what he's doing. But decisions like last night, a lineup, Gilbert, keeping Moore in there in right field, come playoff time, that's the difference between moving on and being eliminated from the playoffs. Like anybody, we all can get better, including Dan Wilson. He's got to get better in that department there for sure. Hey, What the Puck, again, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. Give them a call, 206-817-8917. They're going to take care of you from the beginning to the end. Also find them on their website, restoration1.com, North Seattle franchise. All right, that's it in the books for a Thursday show. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. Big thanks to all of our sponsors, Limbeck Lumber, Zogs on Fox Island, Hartley and Hartley Insurance, Georgetown Brewery, and, of course, Restoration One. Today's Daily Puck Drop, find it up on YouTube. When you're there, please subscribe to the channel. Also find it on your favorite podcast platforms, and you can find it up at pucksports.com. Once you're there, you can sign up to become a member of the Pucks Posse for as little as $5 a month. You support all the free shows we do daily, plus VIP bonus shows like today's Mitchie the Kid performance, Mitch Unfiltered, KJ-Arent. The only way to watch it again or listen to it again is if you sign up to become a Pucks Posse member. Also, our MLB Insider Show with Ryan Divish, the Sports Pit out on Tuesdays with Steve Sandmeyer, Matt Stretch Johnson. Find all of it up at pucksports.com. All right, this week has gone by fast. We will talk to you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Chris Egan is back. I believe Jim Moore is back, and another episode with the Scout. We'll talk to you at 10. Until then, as always, promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!